Hi there, this is Jess Wismar coming to you with a screencast tutorial about Google Calendar. With the use of Google Apps for Education in the Bethel Public School District, one of the nice features we have available to us starting this school year is Google Calendar. Now, to access your Google Calendar, all you need to do is sign into your Bethel Public School District Google account. So you would do so on any Google page. And once you log in, you'll see that you are properly logged in up in the corner, and you can access your calendar here. On any Google page, you'll see this black bar up at the top of the page, and the calendar is easily listed right there, nice and accessible. Now, we're going to start right here on my calendars. I'm actually going to delete this one. And this is what your calendar looks like when you get started. Your calendar has a few different options. You'll see that it starts out with this little mini calendar that you can toggle back and forth and go further in the dates. So if I wanted to get to a specific date, I could do so by clicking into it, and there I am all the way on November 8th. There's that week right there. I can go back and get back to where I was very easily. There are also these view options here. I can look at the individual day, the week, the month, or a 4-day view, or I can look at an agenda, which is kind of like my plan book, lists things day by day. I have a few different options in terms of my calendar. I'm going to go back to my week. That's the one that I prefer looking at. Underneath my calendars, you'll see that you start out with a calendar that is listed just as your name as the title. And you also have a calendar called tasks. Tasks are basically a to-do list. So what happens is when you click onto that tasks tab, you'll see this little sidebar pops up where you can create to-do lists. The actions to control it are down here. You can add tasks very easily. I will do Google Calendar screencast as one of my to-do lists so that I can check it off afterwards. I just like checking things off of lists sometimes. And that is your task list right here. These also appear in your calendar if you give them a due date. So for example, this one, the PD prep that's due on Monday, August 26th, if I look 1 week forward and just toggle forward, you'll see there it is right there. And you can give your tasks due dates. Now I'm going to turn that off. I don't want to view it. You can also turn it off by turning off the view over here. You can view your calendar. You'll see that because that color is lit up, the color will appear here. I can turn it off if I want to, that way. There's also a drop-down menu that gives you options in terms of calendar settings, such as simple things like choosing a custom color. You can change the color that your calendar events will appear in. You can also go into this drop-down and you can see calendar settings as well and creating an event. There are a couple different ways to create an event. You can do it this way. It'll bring you into this advanced screen that will show you when your event would occur and some different options. However, you can also go back to your calendar and you can create an event very easily by, I'm going to toggle forward, by adding an event this way and just highlighting where that event is going to occur. So that's a quick way to add an event. So social studies meeting will be my sample. And once I do that, the event is created and there it is. I can also edit the event, change the color. If it happens to be something very important, I might want to make it in red. I can show where it's going to be. So maybe the social studies department office. Oops, I like to misspell on this particular keyboard. I can include a description of what I'm supposed to be doing there. I can also add guests, so as to send a reminder to them. There are some different options. So I can save this event, and then you'll see it appears in bright red. If I want to, I can also simply delete it this way by clicking on it. Something else you might want to note is that's another way to create an event. Once an event is created, you can change the times on it by just dragging the event back and forth and customizing it to whatever times you need. You can also share your calendar with others on Google. So if I wanted to, something you might want to note is actually that our sharing within the district domain is set so that I can view other people's calendars. What I mean by that is I can go in here and click on share this calendar. We are defaulted to share our calendars with others, which means this option is chosen, share this calendar with everyone in the organization. If you choose to make it completely public, that means that people outside our domain can also see it. But people within the organization can see it if this option is checked. Our default is so that everyone can see the event details, meaning they can see what you're doing during those blocks of time, just on that calendar that is under your name. But you can also choose see only free busy instead. So if you want to let people know that you're busy, but not say exactly what it is you're doing, then you can choose that option instead. What I mean by I can see other people's calendars is this. See how it says add a coworker's calendar right here under my other calendars? Other calendars are calendars that are kind of available to you. For example, you see the US holiday one right here. You'll see in that color, Labor Day right there. You can also add calendars from other people. So I know a heavy user of Google is my good friend Kathy Malatesta from down at the middle school. She's my media specialist counterpart. And I can see her calendar right here. So here I can see that she has these classes scheduled. The nice thing about this is because Kathy's part of my PLC within the district, we often struggle as media specialists finding a good time to meet. Because she's keeping her calendar here in Google, I can actually see when our times are available at the same time. So it's much easier to schedule meetings with each other. This is a great option for PLCs, for department heads, just to be able to check in and see what other people have in terms of time available. Now, if I don't want to see her calendar right now, I can hide it from my list as well. You can also create other calendars. So I can create a new calendar that would be, for example, like if I wanted to include a personal calendar in here, I can do that as well. And you can see the sharing on a personal calendar, I would suggest stays off or remains as only seeing free busy instead of seeing everything, just for personal reasons. You could also, so I could create a calendar like that. And you'll see it will populate in my list in just a moment. And there it is. And I can change the color so that it is one of my favorites. We'll make it blue instead. I can also do something like if I happen to be a department head and I want to make meeting times with my department, I could make a department calendar and I could share this calendar with others. And then I can create those times and the rest of my department can subscribe to that calendar that I've created. So I could create the calendar. Now, what I want to show you as an example is like down at the middle school. I know Kathy, again, is using the calendar to book her BMS gallery. So that is the Gallery Computer Lab down at the middle school. They're using it to book that time slot. So that's another option of using it, is to kind of coordinate times with different people, and sometimes for resources as well. Here at the high school, we're using a kind of a different system this year, only because of our block rotational crazy schedule. But hopefully in the future, we will be able to move to something more like the calendar option. All right. So you can also share with individuals. So if I wanted to share my calendar with someone specific, then I could do so. Say I wanted to share it with Kristen Durgis. There we go. I can give her the option of seeing my calendar. You can see she can see all event details. She can see everything I'm doing. I can set it so she can only see free and busy. Or I can even change it so that she can make changes to my events. That's really helpful if you perhaps have a secretary working with you or something like that, and you want them to have control of your calendar, then that's a good option. Usually you'll probably use it as a personal calendar or a personal professional calendar. So you might want to only have people seeing the events instead. Now, I doubt she really wants to see my calendar, so I'm going to take her off of there. But those are options that you have. All right. Something else you might want to note is just in terms of the settings on the calendar. You can also create an event this way. There are all sorts of different options in terms of that. And yeah, that is about it, just toggling things on and off. You'll get comfortable with it very quickly. It's a pretty intuitive interface, so there's not too much to it in terms of that. If you have any questions, though, feel free to contact me. You can see there's my email address right there, wizmarj@bethel.k12.ct.us. I hope this screencast was very informative, and I hope you start using your Google Calendar. All right, thank you.